Let's grumble. In this video, we're going to go over how, a body handling exercise that you can do, incorporate with mealtime. Now, a couple of disclaimers before you do this. A lot of dogs develop resource guarding. For dogs, it's not appropriate to be near another dog unless that dog is very comfortable. And a lot of times dogs are fearful that we're going to take away their resource. So when you're doing this exercise, I would recommend that at first, this is only completed by the adults. And if you do have children, that you have your children participate after you've already gotten your puppy conditioned and you've gone through all these steps. Then you can watch this video again and have your kids process it with the dog already comfortable with it. Now, I would also make a recommendation that you don't do this with children under the age of 5. They don't really understand the amount of touch that they're applying. They just don't have that level of discipline yet. And so if they are a little kid, I would probably just wait and do this yourself. Every person in the house doesn't have to do this exercise in order for the puppy to feel comfortable. Now, if the puppy ever bares its teeth, growls, kind of stands over it, or gives you any other signs like that it's uncomfortable, that means you're moving a little bit fast. The worst thing you possibly could do is take away that food. The whole reason the puppy is saying is, I'm eating and I don't want you to take my stuff. So taking away validates all of those fears. So what we want to do instead, yes, I know you're going to eat this all in a minute, buddy. Oh, thank you for the kisses. Such a lovely Dalmatian you are. This is my buddy, Ollie. All right, so when you're doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to start very slowly and we're going to go step by step. So I want to be touching Ollie at first right here on his hip, and I'm going to be touching with one finger. If you start touching, your puppy stops eating, that means the puppy is uncomfortable. So what I would do at that point, if this is the puppy, is I would reach this far. And I would just really, with the dog kind of seeing my purview, I'm reaching for him, but I'm not actually making contact. And keep doing that until eventually you can touch, and there's no grimace, there's no growl or anything like that. Then I'm going to touch with 2 fingers, and I'll go ahead and show you right now, but he's going to go through this really fast. So let's see how quickly we can do this. And also, I would recommend that you do this after you've done the bucket game. That's another video we already offered you. So I'm touching him with 1 finger, eventually with 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. Eventually I'm going to do a little bit of scratching. Once I get to scratching, then I can start moving up a little bit further, 2, 3, 4, scratching. And I'm doing this in a very, very quick succession. So this is not something you're going to do right away. And eventually I'm going to work up to where I'm on his shoulders. And you saw he slowed down a little bit. It's really subtle, so watch those little subtle hints. Eventually you want to get to the point where he can be underneath here. Now, again, any growling or any of those things, you're moving too fast. Now, when you actually want to get to the point where you're coming into where their bowl is, I would recommend you get like some some canned food, some wet food. And then you can just reach in with a spoon and drop even better food. But again, don't get to that stage until you can touch your puppy anywhere and they are very relaxed and comfortable, and then you're kind of plopping that extra food in there. Now, if your puppy is growling at you, another stage instead of doing this is something I'll show you here in a second. Basically, yes, Ollie is very hungry. He's going to eat all his food. So if your puppy is growling at you when you're doing this, instead of feeding him out of a bowl, I would recommend you do some hand feeding. You get all that last little bit. Can you get it? There we go, Ollie. Ollie. So now, I'm going to let him do this, and now I'm going to be petting him while he's feeding my hand. And then I grab another scoop, do this. That's a wonderful exercise. And if your puppy ever reverts and does start growling at a person when they're approaching, go ahead and practice that, but make sure you practice it with a person the puppy has a lot of trust in. Don't do it with little kids that are not going to listen and are going to grab the dog. Don't have other kids bouncing around the background. Just because your kids bounce around the background doesn't mean your puppy is appropriate for that. Work up to that. That's something definitely to work up if you have a busy household. But when you're first doing this, you'll set your puppy up to fail if you do those sort of things. Also, if you have another dog, it is not aggressive if he's eating. I guess it's a slight form of aggression. If he's eating, another dog approaches, he's growling, saying back away. Don't punish your dog. Never punish your dog for growling, ever, for any circumstances. You just want to increase the distance. In that case, I would make sure the other dog is further away so the dog doesn't feel it to be a threat. So if you work on this exercise, your puppy is very comfortable, and Ollie, you see, has been well socialized by his guardian because I was able to go through all of it. That's unusual. Most people are going to have to work up to it stage by stage. This might take you a week's worth of meals, and that's okay. Remember, if you're for a puppy, you should be feeding at least 4 times a day. So that gives you multiple opportunities to practice this, either hand feeding and then eventually going to this, and touching the puppy all over his body, and so it associates touch with a good and positive thing. Well, this is a quick little video on how you can incorporate a little body handling to feeding.
Quest, you are a goofball.